Let's see if you can see this. Nope. Oh, is it? Am I back? Russia. All right. Thank you so much. Wingless Angel, we love you. All right, we're back. We're back. We're live. So, ladies and gentlemen, before the Russian government does something dastardly, let's listen to Nancy Pelosi. She's fantastic. She's a wonderful, 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 wonderful person. And let's go listen to Nancy Pelosi. I want to let's listen to Nancy Pelosi. She's great. Oh, Lord. Hold on one second. Okay, hold on. Let's listen to Nancy here. Just 1 second. Now that we have sound and video, well, I'm going to hear the video, but so this is Nancy Pelosi basically saying that she's not only saying that Trump voters or Americans in general will be collateral damage in terms of any policies that Democrats want, because the rebuttal to that would be, well, Republicans, don't care about the deficit. Yeah, you're getting a tax cut, though, and the economy is growing, and more people have jobs now because the economy is growing. Medicare for all there's a noble aspect of it, but it doesn't grow the economy. If anything, it tanks the economy. That's what the Mercatus study says. That's what anybody who looks at the tax increases would say. But there's no debate. What she is basically saying here is there's no debate. So let's listen to, there's no need to debate with Trump voters. There's no need to debate with people on the left, on the right, or conservatives. Veteran anarchy, deal with them by voting red. Exactly. John James for Senate. Exactly. But what she's saying is there's no need to debate, so therefore don't debate. Therefore, if there's collateral damage in terms of Democratic policies, so be it. We are going to wield power without even a discussion. So I could be wrong about Medicare for all. I used to want it, but then I learned from the Mercatus study. And then there's another study, Urban Institute. They said the same thing as the Mercatus study. But numerous studies have stated it's either twice, double or triple personal and corporate income tax. That tanks the economy. It's not feasible. So then the same people who don't have access to healthcare because they don't have money, now just won't have. They'll have access. They might have access to healthcare, but they won't have a job. So here's that's just one example. That's just one example. They don't have any policies, by the way, in terms of immigration. Abolish ICE is not a policy. They have a lot of propaganda slogans. But what she's saying is it's our way. We don't really know what our way is, but it has to be our way or the highway, even though we have no idea what we're doing. So here's Nancy Pelosi.
Clarity about what we do when it comes to everything, a woman's right to choose. Okay, well, we didn't pass a marriage equality. That was in the courts, but hopefully that will be protected. But we passed other LGBTQ legislation, whether it's about immigration, whether it's about gun safety, whether it's about climate. We didn't even talk about climate. I was talking to Ed Markey when I was coming over here.
Immigration, gun safety, climate. What bills, what legislation is she pointing to? None. Not pointing to any major legislation that Democrats have rallied around. She's not pointing to any major legislation. So tell me what she's like what is she pointing to? If you want to talk about the Defense of Marriage Act, which prevented Defense of Marriage Act was a United States law prior to being ruled unconstitutional, defined marriage for federal purposes as the union of one man and one woman. Who was president? Bill Clinton. So Democrats, when it comes to a whole bunch of things, are hypocrites. But she's not pointing to a specific law. She's pointing to just propaganda. Oh, I'm right and I know it. I'm 100% right and I know it. And when Republicans when Republicans keep the House and keep the Senate, you will never again hear Democrats talk about Medicare for all or anything else because they're utilizing progressives. And I say that I don't say that with malice. To my Bernie Sanders people who still watch, I love you. To the Jill Stein people, I love you. I'll be right. I was right in 2015. I've been there since the very beginning of the whole Bernie movement that turned into a movement within the blue wave tidy bowl. They are utilizing. There's a reason Nancy Pelosi is not bringing up Medicare for all, but you hear about it on YouTube. There's a reason that that Andrew Gillum is fundraising with Hillary Clinton. They are not serious about Medicare for all. I could be wrong about it. Let's say I'm wrong. Let's say I'm wrong about Medicare for all. It's the best thing ever. Democrats are not going to raise taxes double or triple. And the rebuttal that I got from one gentleman, oh, well, Bernie said it was 1.3 trillion. No. And then I did look at I think her name is Andrea Witt. She's like, well, 65% of the government of healthcare is paid by the government. Yeah. And 35%, how are you going to pay for the 35%? Especially with millions and millions of people who don't want Medicare for all, who want their private insurance. So there's a million questions. About 2007, everyone in DC wants to be like the West Wing. Acts like it's the House of Cards, but it's really just Veep. Exactly. I just want to know now. I'm willing to be like, if I'm throwing myself out there, I'm willing to be wrong. So I could be wrong. I'm not going to be wrong, but I could be wrong. I'm saying that obviously, well, I won't be wrong about this. The Republicans will keep the House and will keep the Senate. Let's say I'm wrong about Medicare for all. Let's say that you really, really, it's a great thing. Let's say I'm wrong about that. I'll be right that if they lose, which they will, when they lose, when Republicans keep the House, because there is zero political momentum for Democrats. Progressives hate Democrats. Bernie Sanders voters hate Democrats. Every identity politics, social justice, they all hate Democrats. They hate themselves. When they lose, they are going to jettison. They've utilized Bernie Sanders. I keep telling everyone, and they're going to blame Bernie. The I'm with her crowd's going to blame Bernie. But I don't say this with like, I watched Andrea Witt. One of the things she stated was 35%. We could just go ahead and pay for the 35% of healthcare that isn't paid for by the government. But that's not that is not economically viable when you take into account the amount of taxes that need to be increased. Rhonda, Iowa girl, just like Dreamers, they couldn't cut a deal when they could. Yeah, they use platforms to vote. I have friends who are Dreamers. I want people under DACA, 800,000, 1 million people. I want young people. I want young people who came here and they opened their eyes. They're America, apple pie, baseball. I want them to be citizens. But Trump did also. And Democrats said, nah, we're not going to fund your wall. Rhonda, Iowa girl, you're 100% right. But the I'm with her crowd controls the Democratic Party. I mean, that is the power base is I'm with her. And when they say jump, everyone eventually says how high.
You're talking about wanting to establish, again, a select committee on climate and with
a select committee on climate. I thought the science was settled. What do you need a select committee for? They're moving at a snail's pace, the Democrats, and they're saying that the planet's going to implode or explode or whatever. Or, you know, we'll cease to exist as a species because of global warming. Well, you want a panel on that? Just ask the climate scientists. Ask Obama why 8,000 miles of pipeline was built. Oil pipeline in 5 years of his presidency, if he cared so much about the science.
The storms and the rest increased interest in it. And he said, remember that what we said was we wanted to pass an overwhelming number of jobs in order to protect all of our society. I mean, this is about prosperity.
It's about prosperity, but you're not even happy that we have prosperity now. You're worried about deficits. Obama had $1 trillion deficits. The debt almost doubled under Obama, and it was no problem.
As your former mentor, yes, won the Nobel Prize showing the relationship between environment and prosperity.
For people who don't know, Bill Nordhaus, who shared the Nobel Prize and won it for his work on climate economics.
Paul Krugman said the economy would tank. He's one of the people who have who was given the fake news award along with his Nobel Prize award in economics. The guy is so steeped and brainwashed in liberal thought that he stated that Trump would preside over an economic collapse. The opposite took place. The absolute opposite. He also made other predictions about Trump. All the opposite took place. And he's not the only person. He's not the only economist. But this is a guy who we can go on forever, but let's continue.
Was my original mentor. I was his research assistant when I was a junior in college. So anyway, so yeah.
He mentored well, didn't he?
Anyway.
Your mentor mentored well.
So this is.
So anyway, I think that we owe the American people to be there for them, for their financial security, respecting the dignity and worth of every person in our country. And if there's some collateral damage for some others who do not share our view, well, so be it, but it shouldn't be.
So be it if there is some collateral damage for people who don't share our view. By the way, what happened on Election Day? This is a Paul Krugman. So before we get to the ridiculous statement by Nancy Pelosi, Paul Krugman, the economic fallout. So we are very probably looking at a global recession with no end in sight. I suppose we could get lucky somehow, but on economics, as on everything else, a terrible thing has just happened. This is November 9th. 2016. How wrong can you be? And he will never admit he was wrong. That's why the elite type of economist, he writes for the New York Times, but this is a guy who is very intelligent, obviously won the Nobel Prize, so he's extremely intelligent. But here's a guy who stated the most absurd prediction. We're very likely looking at a global recession with no end in sight. Under any circumstances, putting an irresponsible, ignorant man. Is he talking about himself or Trump? How is Trump the billionaire and this guy is the economic wizard, the economics genius, but Trump's the billionaire? How does that work? How does that work? He knows so much about the markets. He knows so much about the economy. This is a prime example of the origins of Trump derangement. You make a statement about Trump where the opposite takes place. The only thing they can say is, well, what about the deficits? Now the economy is growing so fast, they say, what about inflation? You can never win. You can never win. You can never win. I mean, it's like, before we get to Nancy Pelosi, she's talking to a guy who stated, under any circumstance, putting an irresponsible, ignorant man. It was Hillary Clinton who used a server outside the United States government that was unencrypted for 5 months that eventually was hacked by China. Paul Krugman and others do not care. They don't care. They don't care. If it was Trump, oh my God. Under any circumstances, putting an irresponsible, ignorant man who takes his advice from all the wrong people in charge of the nation with the world's most important economy would be very bad news. What makes it especially bad right now, however, is the fundamental fragile state much of the world is in 8 years after the great financial crisis. She has it reminds me of grandmother, pretty obvious. Are you talking about Hillary or Pelosi? Thank you, Rhonda, Iowa girl. Thank you. So I just wanted to, I mean, this is another one of the absurd. You're very probably looking at a global recession. Wrong. The greatest false predictions. Investors.com. I mean, it's like how can you might be intelligent, you might be gifted, you might be just a genius when it comes to a certain aspect of economics. I'll give Krugman that he is a genius. Whatever, I have to look up what the Nobel Prize he won. What was his Nobel Prize in? I have to look that up. But I have to look that up. Hold on one second. Krugman, Nobel Prize. Economic sciences. Okay. He's a distinguished professor of economics at New York University, columnist for the New York Times. For his contribution to new trade theory and new economic geography. Meanwhile, Trump's tariffs are working. we have hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs coming back. What did he say about manufacturing jobs? 320,000 manufacturing jobs coming back. Let's see. What do you say about Obama? This is interesting. I don't know if knowing these jobs ain't Okay, so hold on one second. There was belief that these jobs wouldn't come back. But let's go ahead. Let's listen to Pelosi again.
Them for their financial security, respecting the dignity and worth of every person in our country.
Dignity and worth. So does that mean also that you yell at people when they're eating? Does that mean also that Correct the Record spends $1 million harassing and bullying and insulting and demeaning everyone on the left and right who dislikes Hillary Clinton? Dignity and worth is something that Democrats don't know anything about. They cheat, they blame Russia, they lose, and then they talk about dignity and worth. They don't even like Pelosi. They don't even want to vote for Pelosi. We'll get to Danny O'Connor, or no, what's his name? Yeah, facing Troy Balderson. Arnold. Who is the Balderson? Danny O'Connor. Danny O'Connor, that famous Chris Matthews segment. He's like, okay, I'll vote. Well, I don't want to vote for it, but I will. We'll get to that in a second, but let's hear this again.
And if there's some collateral damage for some others who do not share our view, well, so be it, but it shouldn't be our original purpose.
If there's some collateral damage for others who don't share our view, why would there be collateral damage to anyone? The slaughtered lamb. There will be a blue wave. Unfortunately, it will be a durning low tide, and undertow current will send it back before it hits. Slaughtered lamb. Thank you. Jub 891. Thankful for Rhonda, Iowa girl's grandmother passing down a beautiful genes. And oh, thank you, HA. Thank you, Jub 891. Rhonda, Iowa girl is awesome. She is awesome. Thank you. The slaughtered lamb. Thank you. Sorry, fortunately, damn spell check. Thank you, the slaughtered lamb. Thank you so very, 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 very much. Thank you so very much. And I love the way the Democrats wield power is bizarre. They're like, we're gonna cheat, we're gonna just cheat, we're gonna blame, we're gonna infiltrate the FBI and CIA, we're gonna get John Brennan and James Comey to do our bidding, and Bruce Orr and Nellie Orr, and we're gonna purchase a Steele dossier, and millions of pod people believe it. They believe it. They believe it. They believe it. Did you read the Steele dossier? Steele dossier said that Trump worked with Russia. Is there any evidence? We don't know yet. We're still working. We're still investigating. There's not going to be an investigation any longer. There's not going to be an investigation any longer. And the same thing they utilized against Trump, they utilized against Bernie. I was very sensitive to that when I was a Bernie Sanders supporter. I was very sensitive. They said that Bernie honeymooned in Russia. So, hello, Wingless Angel. We love you. Oh, do you believe credible witness? Credible witness. Any evidence? Credible witness. Credible witness. It's just, there's no logic. So there's no reason in logic. So when they say collateral damage, she just doesn't care. She number one, she doesn't have a vision. So she actually also doesn't know what she's talking about in terms of a specific legislative agenda. She has no specific legislation. Trump wants to build a wall. He likes his tax cuts. The economy is spurred by deregulation and the tax cuts and all that stuff. Now, Beto O'Rourke's going to lose in Texas, like I said he would. You're looking at 6 to 8 seats in the Senate. You're looking at Montana, North Dakota, Missouri, Indiana, Florida, New Jersey. That's 6. You could get Republicans could get West Virginia. They could get Michigan. They could get Minnesota, and they could get Wisconsin. There could theoretically be 10 seats. Could you imagine if they get 10 seats, they get 61? If they get 10 seats, they get 61. That's over a supermajority. Then you have 12,000 voters. Thank you, Sean. 12,000 voters change party affiliation in Wyoming. 90% to Republican. You're looking at the Democratic Party. You're looking at the Democratic Party. They're going to stop being a relevant political party after November 6th. This is a situation where they don't have the guts and they don't have the ability to say, Clinton, we want you indicted. And this is Trump. I love this. Hold on one second.
If you want to drain the swamp, you must defeat the Democrats. You have to do it.
Yeah.
So voting has already begun in Arizona.
Yeah.
Many of you already have your ballots. Return them today. Return them tomorrow. Go ahead. Get them in. Vote early. It's all right. But you have to vote on November 6th.
See, this is a macro. This type of thing is like a macro. Hyper Bandit can't wait for the party. Yes. Got whiskey. Nice. November 6th. Oh, I'd be shots. But you know what? I can't because it's YouTube policy, so I don't. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be awesome. November 6th. I mean, could you imagine? It's not just this channel and I'm building it up and it's so awesome and it's so great, but it's 2 years. I have to listen to 2 years of the insanity from Hollywood, from Twitter, from the haters, from the Washington Post, the New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, John Brennan, the Steele Dossier, James Comey, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Andrew McCabe, all of these people. I have to hear every single day. We almost got Trump. Just today, what Trump did was dangerous. Oh my God, Trump is being so horrible. Trump, it's too much. Lenine McCarthy. It's too much. It's too much. You've overplayed your hand. I'm not like the best poker player, but you can kind of tell if somebody's like, nah, too much. They're not good at bluffing, or they're not good at you can't always say, okay, I'm all in. Well, if you're always all in, that you just, whether you have a good that's just the way you play. It has nothing to do with whether you have a good hand or not. It's just you're always in. Exactly. Sean, they're all in every hand. So there is no bluffing with them. And there is no good hand with them. That's just they don't know how to play. So it's like, let's just listen to that again, because you're talking about Nancy Pelosi, who is, before we listen to that, I gotta show you this. I gotta show you the state of the Democratic Party. So this is Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews, I respect because Chris Matthews isn't going to deceive anyone regarding Medicare for all. He's like, I don't like it. So He's just an honest Democrat. Most Democrats are like liars, but they're liars. But here's Danny O'Connor. If in Ohio you're watching this and you're in his district, vote Troy Balderson, because this guy, he got completely demoralized. Check this out. I mean, you're looking at Chris Matthews, who's a Democratic war horse. He's like the male version of Pelosi, except a lot more likable. But here's Chris. Check this out.
As investigations.
Okay, you don't want to deal with it. Okay, what about Nancy Pelosi? The first vote you have to cast when you become a member of Congress is to vote for the leader of your party that's nominated for Speaker. Who are you going to vote for Speaker?
I don't know who's going to run, but I know
Pelosi's running.
I don't know who's going to run. I know it could be the Tooth Fairy. It could be someone. It could be, I don't know. It could be George Washington. He could come back from the grave and run again. I have no clue. I just want good people on both sides.
For re-election.
we
She
need
said so.
change. We need change on both
So
sides.
you're not voting for Pelosi?
No.
Well, how are you going to help the Democrats get the 218 they need to win the House? You have to be one of the voters.
I'm not going to vote for Pelosi. You're not going to make me. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to make me vote for Pelosi. I'm not voting for Pelosi. We need change on both sides. Leave me alone, Chris Matthews, please, please, please. Stop it.
Yeah, we
So what are you going to do? If you're one of the 218 they need to take control of the House, and the vote on the floor is Pelosi, what are you going to do?
We need leadership on both sides.
We need new leadership on both sides, Chris. We need new leadership on both sides. It's the Republicans, too, that have a problem. It's not just us. Leave me alone. Don't do this again to me. Please don't make me vote for Pelosi, Skeletor. We won, everyone. We won. Could you imagine? Can you imagine how effed up it would be? Every day I'm saying the House is going to remain Republican. And she's like, hi, H.A. Goodman. Why don't you do? You know what you can do? Why don't I tell you what you can do? H.A. Goodman. Huh? We won. Why don't you shove it where the sun don't shine? But this is, Danny, I mean, it's like, Suzanne Yoke. Thank goodness it's Friday. This is the only place on November 6th. Yes. Watched Rush on Handy. He says Dems will get a max 15 seats. Yeah. Party with HA. I think, Suzanne, I mean, they could get 22. Suzanne, they can get 21. I don't even know if they're going to get 15. I don't even know if they're going to get 15. Suzanne Yoke, you are going to party here. We're all going to party. Becky Pamplin. Joe and Mika. Oh, I was having a good night till I had to think of Joe and Mika. Oh. I would rather listen to Nancy Pelosi and Hillary Clinton laugh for a half an hour straight in a dark room than think about Joe and Mika. Joe and Mika are finally seeing the picture, realizing that Dems have nothing. Oh, that's good. I didn't even read Becky, I didn't read the whole was almost heartwarming to see the looks on their faces. Yes. Now I feel better. Becky Pamplin. Yes. Just like my buddy yesterday. Very intelligent guy, Democrat. I mean, as intelligent as you can be to be a Democrat. Hardcore Democrat. And he was like, I had lunch with him, and I was like, ha, you heard it here first, buddy. I'm telling you, Republicans are going to keep control of the House. Huh? You've been reading 538. You've been reading The Economist. You've been reading Washington Post, all of that. I'm telling you right now, Republicans are going to keep the House, and they're going to gain in the Senate. Huh? And he was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, I spent this whole time trying to impress you, trying to tell you you totally destroy any happiness. He already knew. He was like, yeah, I know. That's not what you hear from all the talking heads on the left. The slaughtered lamb. So thank you again, Suzanne Yoke and Becky Pamplin. Thank you. The slaughtered lamb. Thank you. If we take the House and take the Senate, what's the point of paying the Dems? Might as well cancel their checks. They won't be able to contribute or get anything done. Well, they'll be done. I mean, as a political party, they're pretty much no longer there as a political party, Slaughtered Lamb. And what will take place is they will descend into I didn't get to rub it in, Ben. I was like, GOP keeps house, you never heard that before, did you? And he was like, we have nothing. I was like, okay, good. You're learning. Slaughtered Lamb, thank you so very much. They will pretty much cease to be a political party and then be a hobby of Bill and Hillary Clinton. Not that anyone on the left cares, but this is continuation, the torture, the enhanced interrogation of this poor guy by Chris Matthews. This guy, Chris Matthews, should have been like indicted for assault. This is not cool. This is not cool, Chris Matthews. Really, really mean. Don't do this. Don't do this again to people, Chris Matthews. But
So you vote against her even if you didn't get control of the House.
We need leadership.
And you don't get control of the House.
Well, we need to.
If it's a decisive vote, would you vote for against?
he just keeps on going. Body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow. Right hook.
Pelosi? If it's decisive.
We need new leadership.
We need new leadership.
You have to decide this. Just tell me you know you have to decide. Just tell me you know ways aren't working.
The old ways aren't working. The check's in the mail. The glass is half empty. What can I think of to just stop you from saying these things? I don't like Pelosi.
You know that for the Democrats can get control, you have to have 218 members of the House
Absolutely.
vote for the candidate of the Democratic Party for Speaker.
I would
You do
support
that?
whoever the Democratic Party
Thank
is.
Oh. It took a young Democrat 59 seconds to go from one position. This is why when I tell you they're playing everyone with Medicare for all is like you're going to double, triple taxes or whatever. It's going to be like insane to get it implemented, and it will never get implemented because of how difficult it is with 320 million people and a whole bunch of issues. $7,600 out of pocket costs just for Medicare right now. But it took, forget about that. It took 59 seconds for a Democrat to be bullied by another Democrat into falling in line. You're talking about pod people. You're talking about people who can only think a certain way. It basically what happened with Danny O'Connor is that Chris Matthews short-circuited his brain. He just short-circuited his brain. And it was just, Rhonda, Iowa girl. What's a Rod Rosenstein agreement only to talk to two people from each side in a skiff? He won't testify to Intel committee. I honestly think Rhonda, I think that he's pretty much knows that he's done. He knows that Rhonda, he knows that, thank you, Deputy Doug. He knows that he's out. So he's out. A little something like, everyone like Trump's like, oh, that's why Rosenstein was like, hi, Mr. President. Huh? You feeling okay? Do you remember what you had for lunch yesterday? Huh? Speaking to my little lapel here. It's Rosenstein is once he's gone, then you could just move on with the business of finally being done with Mueller. Although Mueller's just going to have his report, and the report will be like, we really think something bad happened, but we can't prove it. But this is Pelosi. Let's listen to it again.
Your mentor mentored well.
So this is.
So anyway, I think that we owe the American people to be there for them.
We're there for you. Except when you gave money to Bernie Sanders in 2015 and 16, then we took the money and we purchased a Steele dossier to then fabricate evidence of Trump Russia since there wasn't any. But we're there for you.
For their financial security.
Your financial security, 1.6% GDP growth under Obama, and Trump's hitting it out of the park. We might hit 5% GDP growth this quarter. Oh my God, but deficits, you had deficits under Obama.
Respecting the dignity and worth of every person.
Dignity and worth with every person. If you disagree, you are Mussolini.
In our country. And if there's some collateral damage for some others who do not share our view, well, so be it. But
the collateral damage. It is what it is. It is what it is. If there's collateral damage, what can you do? Vlad, I can read that. Oh, okay. It's it was blocked for a second. You know, what can you do? So
it shouldn't be our original purpose.
This is kind of related,
so
if
didn't
you look
get
at the map of the United States. There's all that red in the middle where Trump won. Now I win the coasts, I win, you know, Illinois, Minnesota, places like that. But what the map doesn't show you is that I won the places that represent 2/3 of America's gross domestic product.
So what? You also spend twice as much as Trump. And look, since back by popular demand, it wasn't enough that I gave you Pelosi. We're gonna follow this up with Hillary. So what? I think Rod Rosen recorded him. Sarah Carter alluded to that, and they demanded he resign immediately. That's right. That's right. I read that, and Mark Meadows says that he should resign immediately. It's all coming crashing down, and it's not going to be good. Like, let's put it this way. I don't usually speak in this manner. I don't usually convey this sentiment. I'm going to feel sorry for the left, and I'll tell you why, even though it's not like me to say that. They don't know what's taking place. And they don't know how far they'll descend because Clinton is she's not there in terms of like any empathy at all or sympathy or any. She will take the Democratic Party and she will take millions upon millions of people down with her. And what I mean by that is they will suspend logic and become even more unhinged, and they will become even more like, you'll have people questioning whether we need peace with North Korea. You'll have more of those people. You'll have more of those people questioning if a good economy is worth. I mean, you already had Bill Maher saying he wants a recession. So all the hopes and dreams of people on the left that Democrats utilize and manipulate, I mean, these people are going to be hurt. I mean, it's going to be madness because there will be even more of a conflict on the left. And this conflict, I mean, you're talking about people who cannot, they can't break away from Clinton because she controls the party. She is the party. She is the party. So she's like, oh, I voted. My voters control the GDP of the country. That's stupid. That's stupid. Yeah, you have cities that vote for Democrats. So what? John Cox might become governor of California. So your theory there is a little off.
So I won the places that are optimistic, diverse, dynamic, moving forward.
You spent twice as much as Trump, and you had a media apparatus that was beyond Orwellian Hunger Games. And by the way, you infiltrated the FBI and James Comey. Any other normal FBI director would have indicted you or would have recommended indictments in 2 seconds. And Loretta Lynch met with Bill Clinton.
And his whole campaign, Make America Great Again, was looking backwards. You know, you didn't like black people getting rights. You don't like women, you know, getting.
No one said that. You're lying. She's lying. Nobody ever said that. That's a sick fantasy of Democrats.
Jobs. You don't want to, you know, see that Indian American succeeding more than you.
An Indian American, Hillary Clinton called Mahatma Gandhi a gas station attendant. That is in the New York Times. Hillary Clinton said that, and that's also on YouTube.
Or whatever your problem is, I'm going to solve it.
You talking about an Indian American? Let's go just simple YouTube search. Let's see if it's still there. Here it is.
I have been.
Oh, Lord. Here.
I want to end with her favorite quote because I love this quote.
This is Hillary Clinton.
It's from Mahatma Gandhi. He ran a gas station down in St. Louis for a couple of years.
Okay, so that's Hillary Clinton. And that was on CNN. It was like, it was what? Either in 08. So could you imagine? So everybody's like, oh my God, Trump. Here it is again. This is Hillary Clinton.
He ran a gas station down in St. Louis.
He ran a gas station in St. Louis. Everything she accuses everybody else of, she has exemplified.
This quote. It's from Mahatma Gandhi.
Okay, what kind of joke are you making? And by the way, if the rules of the game are political, like if you live by political correctness, then your demise should be from political correctness. If she was just if it was like, I wouldn't have laughed at the joke because it's not funny. That this is obviously meant as a joke. It's just simply not funny. But if it, let's say, was funny in some way, I wouldn't like crucify anyone, including Clinton. But she utilizes this in the most conniving manner, and she herself is guilty of all of these things. So, I mean, you heard the propaganda from her.
He ran a gas station down in St. Louis for a couple of years.
And all the liberals are laughing. Oh, wow. So she has the audacity to talk about Indian American. And then she says, and this is a simple Google search, Hillary Clinton, Gandhi gas station. Just put that. And she said that. And also in the New York Times, she apologized. So, I mean, that's what you're looking at as. That's one of the reasons Democrats took. They basically attended in 1999 a women's studies course in like Berkeley or someplace, and they said, "Well, you know what? We're going to make our political party exactly to exactly mirror everything in this course." And they don't realize that when they don't realize that when they lose again, and if you don't believe they're going to lose, listen to this from Regento, who's awesome. Already 1,000 views, almost 1,000 views today.
2018.
So this is
2000.
This is one of my friends from Twitter, and he watches the show, and he made a compilation. Check this out.
2018, Dems will lose again. The Democrats will lose. Democrats are going to lose again. They know this. Democrats lost again. Losers, losers. You're going to lose as always. They will lose on November 6, 2018. You know, Democrats are going to lose. The Democratic Party is going to lose in the midterms. Democrats will lose. Democrats will not win the House. Democrats will lose again. Losers, insidious, vile, disgusting losers. And once the Democrats lose on November 6, 2018, the Democratic implosion, that Democrats will lose in the midterms. I can't wait. Losers. And this is why Democrats are pulling out all the stops, because they're going to lose. Losers, losers, lose miserably. They spend $1 billion, Democrats, they'll lose again, which is hilarious. It really doesn't matter, they're going to lose anyway. Regento on Twitter is so awesome. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Look at me right now. Are you looking at me? I'll be right about midterms. Lose miserably. After Democrats lose and Republicans keep the House, we're going to have a party because they will lose. Republicans will, everything they spent 2 years for will be flushed down the blue wave toilet. Losers, Lord. Oh, my eyes closed. Okay, Lord. When Democrats lose miserably, insidious, vile, disgusting losers. Look at me right now. I'll be right about midterms. Democrats, all they do is lose, lose, lose no matter what. No matter what they lose. Losers, losers, lose miserably. Look into my eyes. Losers. We are winning at such a high level. They were telling you that Hillary was going to win. I was telling you on this channel and in my writing that Hillary was going to lose. And I was right. And I was right.
By the way, Regento, thanks for the, there's like a backdrop of all the article, like a bunch of articles I've written. It was amazing.
Losers going to have a party after they lose miserably.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you again, Regento. Yeah. So they are Deputy Dog. They are such losers. Oh my God. They are such losers. They've redefined losing into winning. When they lose, they think they win, which is a problem. It's a big problem. Look into my eyes. They're going to, you know what? Nachos live stream. Everyone subscribe to Nachos live stream. He's awesome. You know, when they lose, they're going to initially, it's going to be a cataclysmic, apocalyptic blame game. They're going to be like, Green Party, Bernie Sanders, Kanye West, Susan Sarandon, Russia. And then it's just going to be a combination, and they'll find new things. And the pod people will, who knows what they'll do. They might have short-circuited. They'll have a cataclysmic meltdown. It'll be the Schadenfreude I don't usually like, but you know what? They did it to themselves. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you. That was the Democrats Are Losers mixtape. It's just, it's just so great. It's just so great. I love it. They're not gonna get, I mean, think of it this way. Last time they got 20, over 21 seats was 06. So Rhonda, Iowa girl, we're all gonna have a Kavanaugh for those. I mean, if somebody makes a beer, you know, could you imagine what the new meme would be like? Must drink a cold Cav. Must drink a cold Cav. They'd be like, oh my God! You have done 5 different things we hate all at once, which are linked to Mussolini and linked to Pol Pot. Therefore, you are Mussolini and Pol Pot. And then the actual memes would be like, you see, where it all came back to Mussolini. Oh my goodness. Let's see. What is she saying now? Oh. Like, and this is not a good strategy. This is just not a good strategy. It's just not a good strategy. When you you go ahead and you have a midterm strategy of anarchy, probably not good. Probably not gonna win. You're probably not gonna win. Calling everyone Pol Pot and Mussolini is not a good thing. It's just not. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be back a little later on. And I just want to thank you for everything. God bless. To my super chat, thank you so very, very, very much. Rhonda, Iowa Girl, everyone, thank you. Deputy Dog, David, everyone, thank you so very much. And I will see you all very soon. Great discussion. Thank you.